freaking, I think. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to show off my
Asmongold
characters.
made a video called Blizzard Knows Best, Force Personal Loot in Battle for Azeroth, even for guilds. Well, since there's no more tiers, everybody has a chance of a year. You don't got to say, well, we're going to tier him out first, and you'll wait 4 months.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to record me goofing off on my Elementalist so you can see what I can do. Because that's going to be your Shaman class.
Pretty much.
And you can use swords.
Pennywise, I'm a demon. I'm 6'2", and I feed off your fear. Girl, did you say 6'2"?
Now, because I'm recording, I think the loading screens are going to take a bit longer. So what you're seeing in the recording is not accurate. The loading screen does not take that long. Okay. And I'm also playing on the lowest setting of graphics at the moment.
Good hunting.
So I can get somewhere that's not so populated. We're in the battleground map. I need to get out of that. Exit the PvP lobby. And I need to get a new headset too, because every time I lean a certain way, one of my earphones goes out. Okay. Oh man, the Gamecaster watermark's a little bit in the way of my mini-map. Oh, I can move it. Haha, I did not know that. Cool. Alright, so.
Are you in Discord?
I'm in Discord, yeah.
How do
I don't know if it's narrating what I'm saying, but we'll see. So I'm going to go Fire Attunement. I'm using a Dagger Focus. Fire Field. If I had another player to put something on it, I could actually get an ability with that. Okay. I will go Water Attunement. This is mainly like heal skills and ice, some CC. And if you like comets, you'll love Elementalist. And now I'll go Lightning, or Air Attunement. You gain heavy damage and control abilities. You have a Lightning Whip. Lightning Touch. Adds a debuff. Then you get Shocking Aura. You envelop yourself with electrical energy that stuns nearby foes if they attack you. Each attacker can be affected by this only once every 2 seconds. So every 2 seconds, while you have this aura up, they get stunned. Oh, that's naughty. I like that. And then if you get pinned down by people using projectiles on you, or just mobs, you know, shooting at you, you can pop number 4, which is Swirling Winds. You create a swirling wind that destroys projectiles. It lasts for 6 seconds. It's got a 400-yard radius. That's pretty cool. I like that. They finally.
You know that bridge?
Hmm?
You know that bridge that collapsed in Florida?
Mm-hmm.
It was led by an all-female-led construction company. Even a woman made a post saying, "I need to get back to the kitchen." Nobody dies due to waffles collapsing.
Damn. And then your final ability in air is a knockdown. Now again, your stances also have an ability. Like, for example, I'll go to Earth finally and show that off in this video. Earth is like, it tells you actually, it says it's gains superior damage over time and defensive abilities. So I'm basically an Earthbender at this point. Ring of Earth, I bleed foes with a ring of rocky spikes. Boom! In a magnetic grasp, you immobilize your foe, making them vulnerable to a magnetic leap attack. Combo finisher physical projectile. So if you use this, and then somebody shoots at that target, you'll get a combo finisher damage. It's like a buff or an increase. It does more damage, essentially. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go boom, boom. Whoops, not close enough. Magnetic Grasp. He's immobilized. Magnetic Wave. Damage foes and cure 3 of your... What? I didn't know they had that. Not only do you have your glyphs and stuff on the other side of your bar that can help you with your health and regen, one of your abilities in Earth actually gives you a condition cleanse, which is really nice. It's Magnetic Wave. You damage foes, and you cure 3 of your conditions, and you reflect projectiles with a Magnetic Surge. And the reflex lasts for 3 seconds. It's a blast finisher, so if somebody has another... if somebody has an ability that's considered a blast, and they use it while you're using this, like near you, you'll get that finisher damage. And then the one you'll like the most, I think, is Obsidian Flesh. You envelop yourself in stony armor, making yourself invulnerable. So while you have that on, it doesn't last for very long. It's like 4 seconds, but you take no damage. And that is the basic stances. But then, like I said, each of the attunements is what they're called. You need to get used to calling them that instead of stances. Will actually give you an ability too if you click on them. So if you hit F1 while you're already in F1, actually maybe not. I might not be high enough. Yeah, I'm not high enough level yet. When you're max level, those attunements will actually have their own abilities as well. The only thing about a elementalist that people will tell you to watch out for, get very comfortable with the class, because you're going to need to know what attunement is going to lock you out of the other. Because when you switch, your other attunement's going cooldown for so much. Some are longer cooldown, some are shorter cooldown. So as long as you're dodging in between and you know when what's going to be up, you're not going to be that noob elementalist that's stuck there that has no way to counteract or anything because he's waiting for all his cooldowns.
Okay.
So that was the dagger focus. I'm going to go back to the PvP lobby and grab the other weapon types because you can buy them for like silver. And then I'll show you your skill trees. This is where you'll, as you level, you'll be trying to collect hero points is what they're called. And you find them in each of the maps. You usually have to do like a challenge or something, or you just walk up to them and get them. But those will give you your points you need to unlock your class fully, and then get your elite specialization if you have Heart of Thorns, which I imagine when you buy this game, you're probably going to buy it all out, instead of, one piece at a time.
Yeah.
Alright, so I need to go find the weapon vendor, which is right now. I think that's it right there. And the speed boost that my character is currently affected with is something that I learned in my mastery points, and it only works in like cities and stuff. You don't get this constantly. So don't think, oh, I can run that fast all the time.
Always a pleasure.
Alright, there's the weaponsmith. I cannot remember what all an elementalist can use. I know they can use staff, I know they can use dagger focus. They may even be able to do dagger. I don't know. Let's see if it tells me. Right here's your build. This is the PvP, just regular build. This isn't the PvE build, but you know, you kind of get an idea. Like you can choose what build you want to go with. Like if you click here, you can change specialization. You have currently water, arcane, and earth. That's the ones that I think I'm currently set up with. No, Tempest. Tempest is the is one of the elite specializations for the Elementalist. You've got Tempest and you've got Weaver. I have not played that one either, so I can't tell you much about that. So there's a whole another branch of class for you to have fun with once you unlock your elite specializations. But it looks like weapon skills, you can use sword main hand, dagger main hand, dagger offhand, you can do scepter main hand, and you can use staff, use focus offhand, you can use a warhorn offhand, and you can use a trident, which is going to be when you're underwater.
Yeah, I know that one.
I'm selling. You buying?
So, yeah. You can use a sword in your main hand. You can't do dual swords, I don't think. Let me try it out. I wonder what your Warhorn abilities are as an Elementalist. I'm curious now. Okay. So we got all your weapon abilities. Weapon trees, I mean. Right now you're using dagger focus, so we're going to switch that over to sword. No, that's not the ability. There we go. You do take that dagger out, focus out.
Good hunting.
I can't figure out why, but there's something I don't have set up right. It's not letting me use... You know, that might be Weaver, I bet. You probably have to be a Weaver to use a sword. Let me check. Yep. Sword proficiency. You can wield swords in your main hand. Oh! Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. You're going to be playing Weaver. I can already tell. You basically get to have your attunements, one in each hand.
Oh.
It says here, your active attunement is now applied to your main hand with the old attunement that you were in previously moving to your offhand. Attunement's recharges are reduced, which means you can switch back and forth a lot faster, and you gain access to dual attack and the stance utility type. Dual attack skills weaken enemies. Attacks against weakened foes have increased critical chance. I'm just reading off your different talents you can pick in Weaver. Elemental Pursuit. You gain super speed when inflicting inhibiting conditions on enemies. And those conditions are immobilized, chilled, or cripple. If you put any of those on there, you'll gain super speed. Then you get Master's Fortitude. You gain increased vitality when wielding a sword. You gain bonus vitality based on a portion of your power and condition damage. So you gain vitality based on a percentage of your power, and you gain vitality based on a percentage of your condition damage. Your Weaver's Prowess is you gain increased condition damage and duration for a period of time after attuning to a different element. You get 10% condition damage and 20% condition duration. So Weaver seems like it's very dot heavy. Then you have Swift Revenge. You gain swiftness when using dual attacks. You deal extra damage to enemies while under the effects of swiftness or super speed. That's nasty. Because swiftness already not only makes your character faster, it makes all your cooldowns come up quicker. Then you get bolstered elements. You gain stability when activating a stance. Stability, if you weren't aware, is what keeps you from being CC'd or stunned, knocked down, anything like that. But it doesn't stop you from taking conditions.
Okay.
And it activates lesser stone resonance when you're struck below the health threshold. So instead of pressing the button to save yourself, if you reach a certain amount in your threshold, it automatically procs. That's a talent you can choose. And finally, your final skills for your Weaver is Elements of Rage. You gain a damage bonus for a period of time when attuning to a single element. You gain Ferocity based on percentage of your power. Ferocity, if I remember correctly, is your crit damage. Precision is your crit chance. Woven Stride. You gain Swiftness when you are inflicted with inhibiting conditions. So if anybody puts a cripple or anything on you, you immediately get this ability, if you spec for it. When gaining either super speed or swiftness, you also gain regeneration. So your swiftness is increased effectiveness. So not only will, when you're CC'd or when someone's put like a cripple or a slow on you, you'll gain that super speed, but you'll also start healing. And finally, Invigorating Strikes. You'll gain vigor when you use dual attack. Dodge rolling grants a barrier. Oh, that's sick. So if you dodge roll and you have this talent, not only will you get increased vigor for 3 seconds, which means you'll probably be able to get off a third dodge roll, where most people can't, you'll also gain a absorption barrier. So that's Tempest. Or I'm sorry, that's not Tempest, that's Weaver. Tempest, the one that I was told to go with for PvP, takes a lot more mastery. It's a pretty difficult spec from what my friend showed me.
Eat something?
Okay. With Tempest, you can use a Warhorn. So I'm going to put the Warhorn on, and we're going to see what your attacks look like.
Ho, traveler.
And it's up to you, I think. Okay, you have a choice of using a
Act with wisdom.
Scepter. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one. Where's the Scepter? I picked up a Scepter. There we go. And then you can either go with Warhorn, Dagger, or Focus. So we're gonna go with Warhorn because again, Tempest allows you to use a Warhorn as an elementalist, where otherwise you wouldn't. Okay. So with this, your first passive ability. This is the one that I was talking about. It's called Overload. This makes it to where your attunement abilities have an additional ability. Instead of just switching to them and changing elements, they now have an ability. I showed you this a while back. It's called Singularity. You attain elemental singularity by remaining in an attunement for a period of time. Upon attaining singularity, you may overload the attunement to your vicinity, gain access to your shouts. Overload Fire. You unleash all flames you've accumulated, searing enemies and strengthening allies. You finish the cast, leaving a tornado behind, a flaming tornado. Using this skill causes the attunement to have a longer recharge. So when you use it, bear in mind, your attunement for fire is going to go on a cooldown. You'll have to wait a while before you can do that ability again. I'll go ahead and demonstrate that in the video. So I'm going to use that now. And there's that flaming tornado. Notice it's on a longer cooldown now. Okay, so our next bit, you got Eye of the Storm. It's a shout. Imbue your voice with the element of air, massively increasing speed for nearby allies. The effect of this shout lingers, breaking stun for nearby allies, if you go with this talent. So you can break people that are stunned within 600 yards of you, and your movement speed is increased. You get super speed for 5 seconds. Also, it looks like it has an additional trait. It's called Gale Song. When you cast Eye of the Storm, when you're disabled, Okay, I'm sorry. So when you're disabled, so if somebody stuns you, dazes you, knocks you back, pulls you, knocks you down, sinks you, floats, launch, taunt, and fear, if anyone does any of that, and you have this talent equipped, it'll automatically cast Eye of the Storm. And Eye of the Storm, which is going to be in your air attunement,
You must visit more often.
let me find it. Is it Overload? Eye of the Storm, where is that at? Cast Eye of the Storm when disabled. It's a shout. Okay, it's going to be on this side over here. Here it is. So, it'll imbue your voice with the element of air, massively increasing your speed and breaking stun for nearby allies. Okay, so that's how it works. So basically, if somebody CCs you, you automatically cast this, you'll break out any allies nearby with you. And you get that super speed. And from what I'm seeing, you don't have to have that, you don't have to have that skill equipped. It just does it. Would you like to know more?
Yeah.
Okay, the next one on that tree is called Latent Stamina. This is more like a buff and endurance, and it actually works on 5 other players. So this is a group buff you can give people. You grant vigor to nearby allies when you're attuning to water. So if you switch over to water real quick and you're about to try to, support heal somebody, you'll also give them vigor for 3 seconds, so their dodges will be up faster, and it allows them, to dodge out of the way. So if you see like a bunch of people coming and you're like, oh crap, we're low on endurance or something like that, you switch to water and you've automatically just give 5 of your characters or 5 of your teammates, more endurance so that they can dodge a little bit better, which is great for tanky builds. All right, the next one is Unstable Conduit. This plays with your Overload and Tempest. Remember what I told you Overload did? With every attunement you switch, it has its own ability. Well, this one grants you an aura. So when you Overload, it's going to give you one of these auras afterwards. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that now. So I'm going to do Overload Air. Use the air magic to summon a Nimbus that repeatedly strikes nearby enemies. When this ability is complete, you imbue your allies with electricity and create a lingering static region that strikes enemies at the same interval. Using this skill causes the attunement to have a longer recharge. So I'm going to pick that real quick. And it says right here that you stun nearby attacking foes with an electric shock only once per 2 seconds for each attacker. So your shocking aura, the one that you have for you yourself while you're in air, now becomes a aura that pops automatically when you do your attunement. Now here's what I want to test. I want to see if I do Overload and I gain Shocking Aura, does that put Shocking Aura on my bar on cooldown? Let's see.
I'm ready to go.
No, it does not. That's OP. So not only can you get your Shocking Aura to pop, but it does not put Shocking Aura on cooldown. So you can pop it twice.
Good hunting.
So you can double stun somebody. That's what I'm looking at. I'm going to do it one more time, and then I'm going to hit Shocking Aura and see if it lets me. Okay.
They'll have
Here
to
we
hit
go.
much harder.
Alright, Shocking Aura just popped. Now I'm going to pop it again. Oh my god, yes, you can. And when you do it, you give yourself protection, because the Shocking Aura for your your weapon skills gives you protection. So for 2 seconds, you take pretty much negative 40% incoming damage. So you can basically double stun somebody and take like hardly any damage in the process and get away. So that's pretty nice. Your next passive is Speedy Conduit. Your overloads, all of your overloads will grant you swiftness for 8 seconds. So if you're trying to get away from somebody, and say you had an actual ability on your bar that was on cooldown that would normally give you swiftness. You could just pop one of your overloads and just choo, you're gone. The next one, your next tree, the first one's called Tempestuous or Aria. This shout grants affected allies might and it inflicts affected enemies with weakness. So now you're giving a double. You're basically buffing your allies and you're weakening the enemies. I know you like that. So if anyone's nearby, it's 600-yard radius. If you're all in like a big cluster in the middle fighting, and you pop that, all the enemies are going to take negative 50% endurance regeneration, which means they're not going to be able to dodge a lot of your attacks, and they'll also take a 50% fumble, which I think fumble makes it to where they get CC'd easier. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Your next one is called Invigorating Torrents. Auras you grant also grant regeneration and vigor. So again, like I showed you with air, if you popped your overload air, and you had that one talent equipped where you get the aura right afterwards, you would automatically give Invigorating Torrents. So I'm gonna test that and see if it works with the proc. Okay, here we go. Let me set that. Let's see what happens. If that works, that's going to be amazing.
Lightning bolt!
What? That's insane! And you could do it again! Okay, so you can overload, right?
I've got what you need.
And that passive aura you get will trigger Invigorating Torrents and give you your vigor and your regeneration. And then, as soon as that's over with, you could pop Shocking Aura again and get vigor and regeneration again.
You might sound like you have a new main.
No. Again, this isn't really my playstyle. I'm gonna learn it eventually because I wanna play it because it's the class you go to when you've been playing Guild Wars for a while and you've really gotten familiar with it, because it can counter a lot of classes. There's only one class I think it can't beat. I'm not sure which one it was, but for most classes it can take it on. And then there's of course player skill involved, because as I said before, stats do not matter in PvP. You can walk around with fully ascended gear and fight somebody who's leveling in PvP, who gets scaled up to your level, and you have even ground footing, because stats do not contribute. The only thing that contributes is the runes, which everybody has access to, by the way. Like, you literally can build them. I'll show you in this video, actually. You just go here to PvP build, and you go to equipment, and you can pick out the runes you want to rock. The rune and the necklace piece, all that, you can pick that out. You can set your build, and that's all that's accounted for in PvP. No armor, none of that. That's all for show. So that's really cool. Okay, so going back to the build, I really like that combo. That's really nasty. The next one is called Harmonious Conduit. You'll gain stability when you start an overload, and upon successfully completing an overload, you'll gain increased damage. So you'll get a 10% damage increase for 4 seconds if you manage to get your overload off. While you're overloading, you will have that stability for 4 seconds. So if you're overloading, you will not be able to be CC'd for at least 4 seconds. An overload cast looks like it's 4 seconds with a 20-second cooldown. So yeah, you're good. If you have this, nobody can interrupt your overload. That's kind of nasty. Your next passive is called Hardy Conduit. Your overloads will grant you protection. Protection gains increased damage reduction. So your protection for 3 seconds, you get negative 40% incoming damage. And the effectiveness is increased by that protection, which this only comes with Hardy Conduits. This is not typically standard for the protection buff. You'll gain a 20% effectiveness increase with Hardy Constitution or with Hardy Conduit. So your protection buff will be stronger than other players. Then your final tree, the first one's called Sand Squall, and it has an additional ability when you wield it, which is pretty awesome. Sand Squall, you apply protection to you and your allies. Then you increase the duration of all boons currently existing on you and your allies. Boons are buffs. Okay? You'll gain Magnetic Aura, which will reflect projectiles with magnetic energy. You'll gain protection. It'll go to all your people that are nearby that are up to 5 targets. It's also a combo finisher blast, so if somebody has a blast combo finisher, they can spread it. Or it changes to something else. I'm not 100% sure. I have to test that. Then you get imbued melodies. This gives you increased concentration while wielding a warhorn. Concentration, if I remember correctly, is your regen or your healing. I could be wrong. Or it might even be how fast you cast. It looks like that's what it might be. But you get increased concentration while wielding a warhorn, and it'll cast Sand Squall when you're struck while below the health threshold. So if somebody gets you really low in health, boom, you'll pop Sand Squall. And you'll have that brief-like damage, you'll have that protection, and if anyone's around you, they gain the same thing, and you refresh everybody's buffs. Nasty. The next one is called Lucid Singularity, and this is a CC. Or no, I'm sorry, this is a CC Cleanse. This is kind of awesome. Overloads will remove movement impairing conditions and reduce the duration of incoming ones. So if somebody hits you with a cripple, a chilled, or an immobilize, and you already have Lucid Singularity procced, like somebody just TC'd you before, and you overloaded, you removed that condition, and if they hit you with another one, it's going to be reduced, and it says condition duration reduction is 100%. So pretty much if somebody hits you with, let's say, they hit you with chilled, okay? You pop overload. You've removed it. And then they hit you with cripple. It completely falls off. It doesn't even have a chance to tick. So you can basically avoid 2 major CC impairments is what I call them, you know. Slows, cripples, that kind of stuff. You can remove those with an overload. And then finally, you have Elemental Bastion. This sounds like if you want to go for a more defensive support role. Your heal when you heal allies, you grant an aura. When you grant an aura to your allies, it heals them. When you grant Frost Aura to nearby allies when struck while below the threshold. So when you heal allies, or when you grant an aura to your allies, it'll give them a heal. And if if your allies are below the threshold, like if they're about to die, and you grant a heal, it will, or if you give them an aura, it's gonna give them. Let me see if I got this right. I'm getting this mixed up. Okay, you heal allies, you grant an aura to. So if you grant an aura, they'll get healing. It's gonna grant them Frost Aura to nearby allies when they're struck while below the health threshold, and the Frost Aura gives them negative 10% incoming damage.
Oh, traveler.
So yeah. As you can see, Elementalist has got a lot to offer, and that's the elite specializations. I'm still not looking at the other build pieces that you don't have to go elite specialization. You can just stay Elementalist if you want.
Hail, citizen.
There's still, what is it? Because I've got water and I've got earth. Water is mainly known for its healing. Earth is mainly known for its dots and its defensive. And then arcane is usually your heavy burst. I'll go to arcane just to see what it is. Yeah, this is what's going to give you your buffs. This is what's going to give you your dots, or it's actually going to increase your critical chance. That's sick. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot there to consider. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this recording so you kind of got like an idea. Let's see how I do that. Shift tab, no, control tab.